Man, it might be the offseason. We got a jam-packed show. We're going to talk about who won a free agency.
Most definitely. We also get to talk to my boy Shawn Springs.
Oh, that's going to be a great conversation. And GM Adam Peters in the house going to talk to us as well.
I can't wait to pick his brain.
Let's do it. How you doing, everyone? Welcome to the Get Loud podcast presented by SeatGeek. Can I find our sponsor just in time as I'm talking? Yes, I can. The Get Loud podcast is presented by SeatGeek.
It is.
This summer, SeatGeek has your ticket to the best live concerts in the DMV at Northwest Stadium. SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of Northwest Stadium, my official partner on this show. My guy, Fred Smoot.
I can't wait to go to Northwest Stadium and
Kendrick?
Not like us.
Oh, I knew it.
Listen, it to me.
Why don't you make a TikTok dance? Everybody was doing that after the Super Bowl.
I have yet to make one TikTok.
I think you'd be a star on
my
TikTok.
kids have tried to get me on their TikTok. I refuse to do it because I'm just dirty old man, just not going to do it. But I don't think, we come from a generation of battle rappers. We have seen it all. Mm-hmm. We have seen the Tupac, Biggie. We have seen it all. I have never seen somebody get manhandled like Drake has got manhandled. You got destroyed. It happened.
I hope Adam Peters destroys the rest of the NFL with his moves.
Right now, Adam Peters is Adam Lamar.
He's going to be on the show.
Yeah, yes, he's Adam Lamar right now. He is killing it. I'm going to tell you how good he is. He said, I'm going to look at the free agent landscape. And he looked at it, and he studied it. And he said, there's nothing there that I really want. And he figured out a way to go to the Texans. He realized that they was in cap hell. Mm-hmm. He said, you know what? They're going to have to give up somebody, something. He looked at the San Francisco 49ers. They are in cap hell. They're going to have to give up somebody for the cheap. And he built this roster through that train of thought. That's unbelievable. That's not like us.
I bet that's the first time Adam Peters has been compared to Kendrick Lamar. It's a hell of a compliment, though.
Adam Lamar.
Yeah. He's going to talk about getting ready for the NFL draft, kind of his process.
Yes.
What's next for this team now that he's here and entrenched,
and this
making
is his
this franchise better.
This is his time.
Yeah.
This is the time of the year where GM step to the forefront, head coaches step to the back. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is his time to say, you know what? Now let me put my footprints on this team. Let me put this team in a better place than we were last year. That's all the GM could do is say, I'm just going to put us in a better place than we were last year.
Yeah.
But it's up to Coach Quinn to cook it. I can supply the ingredients, but he has to cook it.
You know what I loved last year? I believe it was produced by the Commanders. They were showing that draft special, the entire process in the draft room. And remember when he was talking, Adam Peters was talking to Harry Roseman, trying to work a deal. Yeah. And finally he was like, you're such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Just being real.
Yeah.
Being authentic.
I love that.
You got to realize these negotiations, especially with 32 high-strung guys. Mm-hmm.
It's competitive.
It's a competitive, because everybody's trying to one-up each other.
Yeah.
So think about this. Every time you receive a call, you know that other person on the other side of the line trying to get over on you.
Yeah.
Every time.
And you have to be careful because they're subtle about it.
Ring, ring, ring. Who is this? This the Arizona Cardinals. What you want? I want to get over on you.
Right. I'm trying to pull a fast one.
That's what it is. That's the game that they play. Who can leave this deal in the green?
Right.
Because somebody got to be in the red. Everybody will say, we won the deal against the Texans.
Right.
Everybody will say we won the deal against San Francisco. At what point and how do you have to talk to these people to get them to say yes? I'm going to let you get one over on me.
And then sometimes you get a gift like, hello? What? You want Anthony Davis? Send us Luka? Hold on, let me think about it.
Don't send us?
Yeah, we'll do it. That's a tough one. We'll do it.
Yeah, let me call you back.
Right.
Come on. At what point does the art of deal making, that's what it is. That's government.
Yeah.
That's politics, the art of deal making. You have to be so gifted to have somebody on the line, know that you're getting over on them, but making them feel like they winning.
Yeah.
Like, that's a art. That's a art that most men are not good at. Now, women, they're very good at it.
I can see Anna out of the corner. Go. Well, I have something to say about that.
Well, speaking of winning, what team won in free agency in this offseason? Well, we're still in the midst.
Anna had to like nudge us back on track.
Yeah, nudge us back.
Fair, very fair. Very
Bring
fair.
us back.
I think the New England Patriots got better. They had so
Stephon
much.
Diggs is huge.
So much money to spend. They had to spend it. I think they got Drake Mason weapons. I think they got better all around the roster. I think they was a roster that just didn't have talent. Mm-hmm. I think they got faster in the wide receiver room, got better in the deep in the wide receiver room. I just think they're a better team. I think they got better. I would say the Raiders got better.
Yep.
I would say
Just bringing Pete Carroll and made them better.
I'm going to say Pete Carroll himself made them better. Seattle got better.
Yeah.
All right. So it's some teams out here that got better in free agency. But when you go out, how many times have we seen a team go out and sign a lot of big name free agents and it just doesn't equate to wins?
Doesn't pan out, yeah.
So that's why I like our train of thought. Our big people came from trades, not from free agency.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you have to look at us as ours as addition and subtraction, not just additions. Like the one thing about free agency is when you get into a bidding war, you're going to overpay. All right.
That's a tricky thing to maneuver too, which is why guys like Adam Peters matter in a big way. It's like we're willing to pay so much and then we decide this isn't worth our money.
It ain't worth our money.
Yeah.
Like, all right, most people say $69 million, Stephon Diggs is not worth that at this time. Yes, he is on the market because the market is buying a house. This house is listed for $700,000. I end up paying $850 for it because 5 other people was bidding on it.
Yeah.
Is this house worth $850? No. But guess what? Once everybody get to putting their bid in, it goes up. So shoppers beware in free agency. And people always want to be like, why they pay him this? Why they pay him this? That's the going rate on the market when you had to bid. When you trade, ain't no bidding. It's about what you're willing to give up.
Patriots did a nice job too defensively, adding some pieces, which you would expect.
Yeah.
You know, with Mike Vrabel as head coach, but also Drake May needed a number one guy because those Patriots receivers, that room was not a very good
That room was
receiver
bald
room.
head.
Yeah.
That room had no hair in it. That room was just.
I was trying to be nice, but you're right.
No, it didn't. And now it sets them up to do what we're doing, and that's take best player available in the draft. Like now they don't have to go out here and hope that a rookie fills a gap. Like that's the worst thing you want to do in as an NFL team is have to go in and say, I'm going to draft this rookie, and we have to hit on him.
Yeah.
And we need him to hit from day one. Like, you don't want to put your job on that. And that's why the Giants went and got Russell and Jameis. Because front office, like the head coach, everybody's kind of like, we need to win now. Can't do it with a rookie all the time. So I'm not one of these guys that I'm going to put my job on the line for somebody fresh out of college.
I thought the Rams did a nice job bringing in Devontae Adams. It's interesting, too, because for a while it looked like they were going to shop Matthew Stafford. They just kind of dangled it out there like, what is he worth on the market? Then they said, no, we'll keep him. They obviously have Puka Nacua. Now they have Devontae Adams. And the Rams are going to be a problem because the Niners have really fallen off. They'll be better this year, I think, but they're not the juggernaut they were a couple years ago.
The 49ers going to pay Brock Purdy or what?
They're going to have to, right?
Is Brock Purdy the beauty queen with the dead tooth in her mouth? Because nobody wants to say he's a
Game
10.
manager or...
Like, nobody wants to say he's good. But quarterbacks, I tell people all the time, 8 billion people on this planet.
That's the thing. It's the market. Who else are they going to get?
Well, Shanahan's have never been prisoners to players.
But can you afford not to pay him, though? I mean, really. I mean, he is
I can't afford
he's
to
an
pay
above
him.
average quarterback.
I can't afford to pay him $40 million a year.
I don't disagree. That's going to be a tough decision
Like,
for
I
them.
can't do that and then keep a Christian McCaffrey. I can't do that and keep a Brandon Ayuk. I can't do that. The first rule of paying a quarterback is he a force multiplier? Or do he need everything to be right around him? All right, I'm a big Dak Prescott guy.
Okay.
Because he's a Mississippi State Bulldog.
Sure.
Let's not get that wrong. The one thing I know about Dak is, as good as he is, he's not what they call a force multiplier. Dak need everything to be perfect around him. He need the offensive line to be perfect. He need one or two receivers, and he need a run game. Patrick Mahomes don't need that.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes can manifest that.
That's why when Brady was in his prime, they just throw whoever was there around him.
Mitch Reynolds, get that wide receiver.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter because I'm a force multiplier. I'm going to make you better. When you overpay a guy that's not a force multiplier, you become a prisoner to his payroll check. Right now, Dallas is not going to reach their peak, not because they don't have players, because you can't pay a B player A money.
Right.
And I felt like for years they was paying like the fifth best player at their position number one money. They were paying Dak number one money. Nobody think he's a top 5 quarterback. CeeDee Lamb, as good as CeeDee Lamb is, he's making top 5 money. I don't think he's a top 5 receiver. Do you think he is?
I think so. I don't think he is. Jamar.
Chase.
Okay.
Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill. Tariq is better. First of all, Tariq is a bigger threat.
He needs to show it, though. Like, he was really off last season.
Well, that's because Tua was off. Tua didn't play.
Yeah.
Like you're a prisoner.
But CD's younger?
Nobody, right now, if we did a draft, would you take CeeDee Lamb over Tyreek?
Yes.
Why?
Because Tyreek, you could make an argument that because Tyreek's a little bit older now.
But he ain't lost a step.
He hasn't lost a step, but he wasn't as productive as we've seen in previous years, and CD could get even better.
No, CD, think about this. CD probably got the ball through to him 190 times last year. Tyreek didn't get those numbers. All right. CD is a volume guy.
Okay.
All right. And CD is, to me, a slot extraordinaire.
Okay.
He makes all of his big plays in the slot. That means he's not getting touched. Why ain't you on the outside?
Right.
You ain't on the outside because you got a problem with getting off the jam. All right. All I'm saying is the Cowboys had 5 people, including DeMarcus Lawrence, as a top 5 pass rusher.
Now, should they be paying all those guys? That's a different conversation.
But they paid them. And if you pay them top 5 money and they're not a top 5 talent, you will fail. All right. So if the 49ers pay, and I understand, if they pay him top 10 money,
okay,
he's not a top 10 quarterback, they will fail.
Let me ask you this, because I think this is an interesting question. So how much faith do you put in? Like, we all know that Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive mind, right? We can all agree on that. Doesn't it really depend more than anything on what Kyle Shanahan thinks of Brock Purdy? Because we can say, okay, well, he's above average. He's not as good as the best quarterbacks in the league. He's just a game manager, all these different things. But doesn't it really come down to what Kyle Shanahan thinks of Brock Purdy? Because if he believes in Brock Purdy, they'll sign him to a max deal or a huge deal.
You don't need but one person to believe in you.
Right.
And that's your head coach.
Yeah, especially a coach who has an offensive mind.
And when you say faith, is it faith of a mustard seed that you're referring to? Because I think he got faith in him. I think he likes him as a quarterback. But like I said, the Shanahans as a family, period, is, how should I say, they understand that players are replaceable.
And that's what I'm getting at. Like, if you're Kyle Shanahan and you know that you could probably win with another quarterback, if you believe in your system enough, if you believe in yourself enough, do you say, I'll pay you like we were talking about, but only so much because I know I can get someone else to still run this offense?
All right, can I ask you this?
Yeah.
If they said, no, we're not going to pay you and traded him to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
And they took Jackson Dart.
I don't mind that.
Are they?
I like Jackson Dart.
I'm going to say, are they any less formidable?
It's a good point. Wouldn't you rather pay Brock Purdy less and take a flyer on Jackson Dart? I would.
I would think about this.
Okay.
If I traded Brock Purdy to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I could probably get their first-round pick. Giving me 2 first-round picks and the ability to draft Jackson
need a
Dart.
quarterback, yeah.
And
let's say sign Aaron Rodgers for a year.
Because I think as much as the 49ers don't want to say this, they in a rebuild. They don't want to say it. They don't want to say it. They don't want to speak it. I'm sorry. I love Trent. Trent is 37 years old.
Yeah. That window and Christian McCaffrey always banged up. I just
I'm
cannot
sorry.
stay healthy.
You just lost all of these free agents.
Debo's
You
gone.
don't want to say you're in a rebuild. You are in a rebuild. If I am the brain trust of the 49ers, I trade Brock Purdy and I take Jackson Dart.
So you take the assets that they have right now, you say, okay, it's time to get some value for these guys.
While
we have them.
While we have them,
Yeah.
I want that first rounder. I want, if I can get something for Trent, and like whatever. Like I'm having a fire sale right now.
It's not a bad idea, actually. Oh, and it says we need a wrap. So let's tell everyone you can call us 703-726
Okay.
7419. Washington Get Loud at gmail.com. You can also email us as well. Pay the bills?
Yeah, let's pay the bills.
All right.
My turn first, Fred, or do you want to go first?
I'll go for ladies first.
Winners. Winners first.
Winners first.
Well, then I'll go. All right.
Okay, I'll go. Because I'm a winner. The Get Loud podcast is brought to you by Bet365, official sports betting partner of the Washington Commanders. Bet on a range of NFL markets with the Bet365 app. Craft your own personalized bet slip with Parlay. Access thousands of games with live streaming. Place your bet before the match or bet during the game. It's up to you. Download the Bet365 app today and join 80 million members worldwide. Age 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Virginia. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
And I will answer the phone until you stop gambling. All right? MWAA. We don't travel to escape life. We travel so life don't escape us. We dream of a place anywhere in the world. In a blink of an eye, we're there. That's the wonder of flight. All you have to do is decide where to. Dulles International Airport. Let your imagination soar. Book your adventure today at flydulles.com/nonstop. Take yourself back to the 1800s when they couldn't fly. All right?
Horse and buggy.
Think about this. Think about me knocking on your door, Jinx. Finna take a wood ship. And and we're about to go.
You showed up my door saying, let's take a wood ship
we're finna take a wood ship with no motor on it.
Yeah. There wouldn't be a podcast. You'd say, let's have a good conversation.
No, let's go.
Let's build a fire and talk.
We're going to the new land.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you got GPS? No. Do they have food service on the ship? No.
And you know what? We wouldn't talk football. You'd be like, hey, who is the best horseshoe player you know? I'd be like, I don't know. Probably old Ed down the street.
Augustus III. Like, think about just how adventurous and fearless people at this time was.
Oh, yeah.
I think about a
diseases ravaging populations.
Yeah, just a Mario Vespucci just come to you and be like, I'm going to this new world. You want to come?
I'd say no. I'm going to stay here. Stay right here.
Like, what are you like? That's why I really do show the past a lot of love, because I felt like the people were fearless.
Yeah.
Like, this is uncharted territory, and I don't do that now. I don't take cruises. Like, the one thing I have never did is take a cruise.
Never?
I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm just a dude to fall in the ocean and the cruise ship leave.
That probably would happen, honestly.
Yeah, yes. I just don't want to. So imagine a wood ship with no GPS or none of that. We don't even know where we're going to land at.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm telling you.
You know what always gets me when I think about, I hear stories from back then, especially when you're talking about medicine, is when they would have a bloodletting. Like, this guy's sick. Well, let him bleed out for a while. Maybe he'll get better.
Yeah,
that's it.
Let's go put like 7 leeches on it.
You know who gives me a high? Shawn Springs. Let's bring him in.
And that is his picture on the screen right
look
now.
At that. As promised, we got to bring in our guy, Shawn Springs, to talk a little defense. Shawn, how you doing, man? You looking good.
Hey, man, I'm happy to see my guys, man. I miss y'all. We ain't seen each other in a minute, man. I love you guys, man.
Yeah, it's been too long, man. It's been way too long. I know Fred has been talking about you, giving you a hard time, but you guys need to catch up. I feel like it's been too long for sure.
Yeah, hey, I'm doing good in life. I don't need friends like him.
Yeah, he said you was looking good. I don't want to second that motion. Maybe on the back of your neck or something like that. But I got to ask you, I got to ask you this question, man. So far this offseason, the moves that Adam Peters have made, I thought was Jedi-like. I thought getting Tunsil for what he got Tunsil for, getting Debo Samuels for what he got him for, the guys that he's brought in, especially from the New England, Jonathan Jones, Dietrich Wise, all these guys, I thought was masterful. How do you view what Washington has done this offseason so far?
It feels good to have a real GM. You know, when you look at the moves that Adam is making, I mean, he's building a team the right way. You know, you're getting veteran guys like a Debo, who's proven has success in the league, Larry Tunsil, who's just big physical, can protect the blind side of a quarterback, and you need a left tackle to protect the quarterback. You know, just solid guys who play in the league, who are tough guys, maybe not household names like Jonathan Jones, but a really good player in New England. Javon Kinlaw, I mean, the guys he's familiar with from Jets. I mean, just really, really good football players, man.
Shawn, how much better do you think this secondary is going to be now with Jones and Lattimore and Sainristil? And I mean, they've really solidified what we see on the back end, and now they've got an extra year experience, especially when you talk about a guy like Mikey.
Well, first of all, you know, we saw a secondary last year that, you know, started off shaky in the first game of Tampa that we thought, you know, Smoot and us and all on the podcast, we thought that played extremely well down the stretch in the playoffs and played really, really well. They weren't the weakness. I mean, you know, Mikey looked like by the time of the end of the year, went from a rookie to like this guy's going to be all pro corner. And now you add, you know, you add Will, and you talk the experience, a lot of more who's going to be healthy coming into this season. I mean, man, we got a pretty good secondary.
Well, the funny good part about this is we have the luxury of having old Adam Peters on our podcast, and I'm sure you can't get him on yours. So I'm going to ask you this draft situation. Ohio State. Who's the best running back there? Is it Quinshawn Judkins? Is it Travion Henderson? Because me, myself, as much as I like Judkins, I really do. I think if I had to draft one to the Washington football team, it would be Travion Henderson, a.k.a. and he's a guy that's from Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think they're both excellent choices, man. And, you know, one, I mean, it's like they both can run, man. You know, we look at Travion, and you're right. He's from Petersburg, Virginia, and he has tremendous speed. He's a home run hitter. But when you look at Judkins, like he's just a physical guy, but he still has enough speed to break away. And they both are really, really good football players, man. Can we draft both of them from Ohio State?
Well, you know what? I don't know if drafting from Ohio State has been beneficial for us in the past. I really don't know now that I look at the players that we drafted from there. But like I said, if I had to take one and put one on this roster, it'll be Travion Henderson, because I think he has that home run hitter's mentality with the speed, the breakaway speed. I think he's great in the pass game, and I think he's an underrated pass blocker. So I would think that'll be the guy. I don't know if he gets to the second day. I don't know if he gets to the second round.
Yeah, I would agree, Smoot. I think, you know, that he got a little bit of separation when it comes to, like, has the ability to take a catch 80 off a screen instantly. So I would agree with that.
Shawn, when you look at this team and what they need in the draft, or even, you know, before the season, you know, gets underway via trade or whatever it is, you keep hearing they need an edge. They need an edge. And I know Smoot agrees with that to a point, but also says maybe that's overstated. How do you feel?
I think that if you want to be a real contender in the NFL, you have to be strong in the interior offense and defensive line. And then when you need a play to be made in the playoffs, you got to have that edge rusher. You got to have that guy when your back is against the wall, that guy who can win the one-on-one battle, who can, you know, be the right tackle or someone. And you need that. I don't think you can go deep into the playoffs with a guy who can give you that pressure.
I dispute that, Blue, because when I look
Why are you disputing? You know pass rush is everything, brother.
Yes, but I believe pass rusher from the interior is better than the exterior. I look at the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Carter, that's the guy that makes things happen. I look at the Kansas City Chiefs, Chris Jones makes things happen. I look at the Rams, who I'm thinking about, was the Rams D tackle?
Donald?
Aaron Donald. Like
I hear all that, but we all know if Hutchinson doesn't get hurt for Detroit, that's a whole different team.
Yeah,
when the guy's at 12
that is.
back.
But Hutchinson, TJ Watt,
Bosa at San Fran. Bosa at San Fran makes that defense go. TJ Watt at Pittsburgh makes that defense go.
And he's got zero playoff wins. Zero playoff wins. Myles Garrett. Zero playoff wins. Zero playoff wins. Myles Garrett. Zero playoff wins. TJ Watt. Zero playoff wins to all of the edge rusher extraordinaires. You show me an interior D tackle that leads his team in tackle. I'll show you a Super Bowl winner, a playoff contender.
Well, I understand that, but you can't put the playoffs on. Obviously, if you want to go to playoffs, you got to get a line, interior O-line and D-line, and you got to have a quarterback. We both know that, so don't put it on there. But come on, man. Edge rushes are premium because it's smooth. As you know, it changes the defense when you're back there. When you're back there, you're playing zone, and you can sit back there and keep your vision on the ball and vision on the quarterback, and that ball has to come out because there's a DN right there that everybody is afraid of. That changes the game.
No. The tackles changed the game. All right, Warren Sapp changed the game. All right, the tackles, like I'm telling you right now, the shortest route.
Michael Strahan changed the game.
And who did he? And Justin Tuck.
You said show me a Super Bowl team. Bruce Smith took Buffalo to 4 Super Bowls.
And guess how many Super Bowls he won? He got as many Super Bowls as a dead man. All right, 0. All right, he got 0 Super Bowls. The number 1 sack man in the NFL history got 0 Super Bowls. All right,
Reggie White?
Reggie White was actually with slash interior. All right, he went from DN to D tackle in a split of an eye.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about this. Probably the best defensive player to ever play the game, and probably
Lawrence Taylor.
Is Lawrence Taylor.
Yes, he is.
The reason why people know Lawrence Taylor because he was violent off the edge.
And guess what? It ain't been but one of those.
You don't even think about him as a linebacker. The only thing you remember of him, you don't even think about him as a linebacker. You remember him breaking Joe Theismann's leg.
Anomaly at its best. He's the greatest defensive player to ever play the game. It's never been another one. It ain't going to be another one. But when I do my case study through Fredanalytics, this is what I do find out.
Is Fredanalytics based on Mississippi
What about Aiden Hutchinson? I know he got injured last year, but didn't he make that Lions defense so much better coming off the edge?
He make it better coming off the edge, but it's proven through time and in my studies that D tackles affect the game a nudge more than edge. I can actually, on offense, I can come up with a plan for an edge rusher that I can never do with a D tackle.
Okay.
You can't stop a dominant D tackle.
I can tell you that. It's called a double team. It's called duo.
But that's what great D tackles are already used to. They already been used to being double teamed. I can chip that edge. I can double team that edge. I can do so much on that edge. You show me a great edge rusher, and I show you a high paid player with a big name and no rings on his finger. The top 5 pass rushers, edge rushers in this game today are ringless. Unless they married, they ain't got no rings on their finger.
But how much of that honestly has to do with team versus player?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm like Myles Garrett, like no rings, but he plays for the Browns.
Listen, what you want me to cry river for Myles Garrett? Because he played for the Browns?
No, I'm just saying, like, one man cannot make that offense. Can't play quarterback for Deshaun Watson.
Well, let's argue this. Would you argue that Dexter Manley and Charles Mann are the reason the Washington Redskins were at the height of their defense, the best defense to ever play?
And I get every one of them, I give you a Chris Hamburger. For every one of them, I'm gonna give you a D tackle that's putting in the dirty work. Look, the sack exchange. Was that not? The Jets had the best pass rushing duo, edge.
Klecko and Gastineau,
and they got no rings for it. I'm telling you, the common denominator with edge rushers, high-paid edge rushers, is they usually gonna have a good corner on their team because guess what? We do benefit from the edge rusher. But when it comes to rings manufacturing, because let's go back to the dynasty with Bill Belichick.
Okay,
who was their best? Who were their best defensive lineman? Richard Seymour.
Richard Seymour played in the Okie front, he was the DN. He was the wide end. And on other sides was the Elias Thomas.
No, he was a 5 technique. Playing on the
and a wide 7.
And he had an outside linebacker outside of him. All right. All I'm telling you is interior defensive linemen affect games on another level than edge rusher. So while everybody out here crying that we need to get an edge rusher, I'm more about the interior defensive line because the interior does two things.
I agree with that, but I'm just trying to say if you can manufacture sacks without having to blitz and play zone, that changes your defense.
Yes, it does. And the shortest route to the quarterback is over the center. All right? Through the center.
But and I agree with all this, but what I'm saying is, and I think where we can come to an agreement here is, if you're looking at this defensive line, the interior of the line is set. How much better would it be if it had an edge?
Who is more important to the Pittsburgh defense? Cam Hayward or TJ Watt?
If you look at the metrics, it's TJ Watt. It's TJ Watt.
No, because when you look at metrics, you're looking at stats. I'm looking at, like, TJ Watt, as good as he is against the pass, he ain't nothing compared to Hayward when it comes to the run.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's the totality of a football player, right? When he is out of the lineup, the Steelers give up more yardage, get up more points. They're a much worse football team defensively.
Michael Jenkins.
Fred's move.
Michael Jenkins. Let me ask you this.
All right.
The last edge rusher to win a Super Bowl, that's great.
Oh,
Michael Strahan.
Yeah, probably.
No, that's not true.
Von Miller? Von Miller played on the edge?
Von Miller.
All right, let's go back to
He was
Von
the
Miller.
MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Von Miller.
Okay.
That's the that's the last one. All right. Everything else is interior. Chris Jones has dominated this decade. Mississippi State Bulldog through the A-gap.
But that's because of Patrick Mahomes, right?
No,
Patrick Mahomes
Chris Jones
dominated this generation.
No. Let's be honest.
They were giving up 40 points a game.
No, they won't. Listen, a pair of lips will tell a lie, and you telling one right now. Let's be honest about this. Chris Jones has dominated the trenches the last 10 years of NFL football has been dominated by a D tackle.
Yeah, that is true. He's the second best D tackle in the last 10 years.
No, are you serious? Who's the first one?
Aaron Donald.
All right, I get you there. All right.
What are we talking about?
You know what? I don't tell you right much, but yes, I think Chris is better against the run than Aaron Donald was. I will say that.
Aaron Donald, man, knock it off.
Oh, no. Listen, you'll never hear me hate on Aaron Donald. By the way, I think Pitt University might got more Hall of Famers than O State.
No, if I'm correctly, Ohio State has the most Hall of Famers in the NFL, period.
No, your CTE is acting up right
Nah,
now.
you need to check that, brother. You got to be careful jumping out there when you talk about them Buckeyes, bro. You got the most All-Americans. You got to be careful, bro.
Oh, no, they got Larry Fitzgerald. They got Darrell Reeves.
Dan Marino.
They got Dan Marino, Mean Joe Green. Like, I'm just saying now. All right.
No, Mean Joe Green went to North Texas.
He did?
Yes, he went to UNT.
He went to University of North Texas. Or North Texas State back in the day, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yes. Knock it off. The green and white, bro. Relax. Relax, man.
I think people would be shocked to see how many Hall of Famers that Pitt University has. Pitt has more Hall of Famers than Penn State, but Penn State is known as the football school.
That's true.
No, there's not. Penn State is not even known as football school in their own conference. Ohio State is.
I understand. The Big Ten is South anyway. You know?
Shawn, before we let you go, this has been a great edge discussion, by the way. What would you do at 29 in the draft? You just go with best athlete, or is there someone you have an eye on if you're the Commanders?
You know, I think at this point first of all, let's talk about free agency. Signing back some of our veterans like Bobby and Tress and Mariota, some of the leadership that lets you know that they feel comfortable with the leadership of the team as well as some of the players. And I think Adam done a good job of filling in with the replacing the D linemen and the corners and situation. But I think the team is going for the best athlete right now. Who's the best available player at 29?
Best available. Yep. Most definitely.
Best available player at 29.
Yeah, I think from the free agent moves in the offseason, best player available.
Yeah, and you know, in free agency, like the best thing that ever happened to Smoot was me in free agency, baby.
Oh, my God.
That changed his life. I just want to let y'all know that changed his life because they were doing him bad, Jinx, and then I saved him. Champ Dion and them had him out there bad, and then I came and I made him into something. They ain't raised him right. I raised him right. That's my son right there.
Well, I'm sorry to jump in really quickly, but was sent the Hall of Famers, schools with the most Hall of Famers.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Number one is Notre Dame.
Notre Dame has the most Hall of Famers,
14.
not Ohio State, all right? So he was already wrong
yet.
right there. Next.
2, University of Southern California.
Oh,
USC.
Yeah, I knew that.
USC, who else?
3 is Michigan with 11.
Michigan got y'all with 11.
Then Ohio State is tied with
4.
Pitt.
Ohio State is tied with Pitt.
That's
all right?
crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so therefore,
crazy.
We got a couple coming in now, but don't worry about it. We got a couple coming in.
I don't see them.
Oh my goodness.
The one thing I can say about Ohio State, they will sell you a dirty old shoe. And tell you that it's brand new. That it's brand new.
Hey, Ohio State will sell
Check
you
out
the
these
future,
Jordans.
boy. We'll sell you the future. Ohio State is the future, boy.
Hey, nothing wrong with that blue foot, man. Thank you for coming on, man. This has been great.
Hey, Shawn, it's always good seeing your face. Come and see us. Come and see us, though.
I need to come see it. Need a little more professionalism. That's when I step in.
Right. We'll talk to you, man. Thanks for being here. Man, always great to see Shawn. We'll get him in here. We'll bring him in.
That's my guy, man. We bicker.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we always did. Like, he's an awkward dude. Like, the first time, like, we signed him, I was in the locker room working out. It was the off season. I was just chilling. I used to stay here in the off season. And he walks in there right after he signs his contract. And he introduces himself to me. Only the way that Shawn Springs can, just as arrogant as he can be. He shakes my hand and say, "It's a privilege for you to play with me. I can't wait for you to be the Robin to my Batman."
What did you say to that?
I'm like, "Who are you?" Like, I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? I like, dude, you know, I just played with like 3 yellow jackets, right?
Right.
Like, who are you? He like, they're nothing. That's when I was like, this dude right here.
You're like, I like him.
They're like, he's on his own. Like, the one thing you don't have to worry about with Shawn Springs, he always gonna have confidence.
Yeah.
I didn't watch this dude get burnt for 100 yards, and he just like, I'm so damn good. And I'm like, you're not. You just
Was he
lost
smoking
the game.
a cigarette during the game?
You just lost the game.
But it's still great.
You just lost the game single-handedly by yourself. Hey, that's him, man.
Let's pay some bills real quick and then get to the main event. Adam Peters is here to talk to us. This summer, SeatGeek has your ticket to the best live concerts in the DMV at Northwest Stadium. SeatGeek makes it easy to catch world-conquering tours and high-wattage performances from your favorite artists all summer long. SeatGeek has the best seat, your seat, for an unforgettable summer. From rock royalty to rap superstars, R&B to country. Find it all on SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of Northwest Stadium. Summer concert season officially starts with SeatGeek. And now for the main event.
Let's do it. All right, welcome to the Get Loud Show. I don't have my castmate today, but I got somebody even better. Mr. Adam Peters, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Let's
Who's your castmate? I feel bad.
Michael Jenkins. Jenkins is a great guy, but when I really want to pick your brain, all right? This is where we're going. All right. Year 2 of this gig right here. Does it feel different this year than last year? Because I know like last year you was laying the foundation, and I'm sure it had to be hard with you know, the first year you're doing that job, but now you're in the second year, it's kind of routine, or does it feel sort of like the same?
I think you hit the nail on the head. We've done everything once for the most part. You know,
Yeah.
there's still always surprises, but last year I was almost like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
You know, where's this? Where's
New
that?
home, new everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm living in an apartment, you know, and so I feel a lot more settled now personally.
Yeah.
I think last year almost felt like a startup in terms of, you know, just a few of us doing free agency, a few of us, and now we have a full staff. We were able to hire a full staff over the off season, and we got a lot of great people in place, which is awesome. So it's a lot slower, a lot less hectic, and
A little bit more methodical in the way you're doing
exactly.
things.
Yeah.
And like you said, you did have to put a lot of people in place when you first got here, and not only put them in place, understand where you was in the hierarchy to get things done. Does it like, what's the biggest thing that you learned from last year that you bring into this year when it comes to the GM job?
Yeah, I think really the biggest thing, and I think I knew this, but it really solidified it this year, is bringing in great people. You know,
Yeah.
and that's players like yourself, right? And coaches and then our staff. So bringing in great people, like-minded people that are, we're not just looking for commanders as players. We're looking for commanders in our front office, on our coaching staff. So surrounding yourself with the great people that love to work, that love ball. I think that's been the biggest thing and that's really helped us like throughout the whole organization.
And not just bringing these people in, you have to actually like trust them to do what you asked them to do and what you hired them to do. And I know from playing, sometimes that's easier said than done, you know?
Yeah, you try to hire people that you think can carry what you're trying to do when you're not there.
Yeah.
And so I think we've done a great job of that. We have an incredible staff, incredible coaching staff, and the players all are, they're all real commanders. The guys we brought in the offseason, the guys we brought in last year, the guys we drafted.
Yeah.
So we feel really good about that.
And when you say commanders, because I've heard this time and time again in the culture and everything, when you're shopping for a player, you don't just look at the free agent list and say, okay, who's the best free agent? You say, no, I'm looking for guys that fit the ingredients of a commander. What are those ingredients?
Yeah, that's a big secret, Fred.
No. You can't give me the 16 herbs and spices right there.
We can give you the main ingredients, but not the secret ones.
I totally understand. Could you take me just a day? Because there's one thing I had always said is if I want to do something in football, after football, it will be a GM. A very hard job with a lot of pressure. Could you take me down through an average day when free agency begins, with you still having the draft looming behind you?
Yeah, that's hard. You really have to compartmentalize because free agency, especially last year and then this year as well, we had 28 free agents this year.
Yeah.
So we had to really fill in the
lot
roster.
of slots, yeah.
So you almost put the draft on pause for that week and really dig into free agency and dig into the phone calls, calling the agents, talking to the coach, our coaches, talking to our staff, and really building that and making sure that, all right, here's the guys we're really targeting. And again, trying to target those commanders that we talked about. But if that guy, we don't get that guy or that price is too high, who's our next guy? And so really that week, you're just hitting pause on the draft. And then as soon as you fill that in, when we sign, I don't know, tons of guys. We feel really good now, but going into free agency, we had the second least players on our roster in the whole NFL. And so after we did that, now we can turn back to the draft, and now we're full speed into the draft.
Did you look at this free agents and say, I'd rather wheel and deal with some teams? Because with Laramie Tunsil, I got to give you some props. I feel like you stole him, and getting a guy like him and getting Deebo Samuels. Did you set out, I got my eye on these guys, or did you understand the situation those teams was going through?
I think, both are different. I think with Deebo being available, I'll start with Deebo.
Yeah.
And with him being available and knowing Deebo since really before we drafted him in San Francisco, we actually coached him at the Senior Bowl too. So we got to know him really early. And then seeing who he is, how he plays, how he works, what kind of teammate he is, and then obviously seeing firsthand in person how he can change a game. Like he is a true game changer. He is somebody who lifts everybody else competitively on the field. So having that opportunity, that was really cool to get him and get Jaden in our offense, another weapon that can take it to the house at any time. And then the other thing we really wanted to do is get a left tackle, a great left tackle, and those are hard to find. I would say
they don't fall off trees, and they usually don't come available.
They usually don't. You're right. And so we were especially picking 29th in the draft. Okay, can we find a real left tackle, like a starting left tackle? Brandon Coleman did an incredible job.
He did as
last year, and he can play anywhere on the line, which is great. So let's find an elite left tackle that, Jaden can feel really great and comfortable with covering his blind side. And so when that opportunity came about, we jumped on it and we thought it was really important to do that. And, it's, after that, it's just trying to find the compensation.
I think it changes the hierarchy of the offensive line. Like you said, with Coleman being able to move from here to here, it just takes it up to another level. And not just these guys that you brought through trades and free agents. What about our own guys that you brought back with Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz? How important was it to bring these locker room stalwarts back and to keep things moving forward?
Yeah, that was really our priority, is to bring our guys back, the guys that we saw as commanders. And we targeted a lot of our own free agents because those are the guys that really were the core of what we did last year. Guys like Bobby, guys like Zach. So those are the first order of business, really, and bringing those guys back and their leadership, and not only their leadership, but their play on the field, giving somebody that, like in Zach's case, a weapon for Jaden that he knows is going to always be open.
Safety
even when
net.
he's covered. He's
the tight
open.
end is the quarterback's favorite friend in this league.
And then Bobby's the leader of the team and the quarterback of the defense. So getting those guys back, that was priority 1A and 1B, really, along with other guys like Marcus and those guys. But it was really, really cool to get those guys back, and they wanted to be back, which was really neat.
Yeah, I've been saying, not just them wanting to be here. It's the buzz around the league that a lot of players look at us as a destination. And I was here during the other times where we wasn't a destination. So as an ex-player, it feels good that people is seeking us out right now. So I back that up most definitely. And I got to ask you this. The way you go about free agency, do you go about as aggressive as you get things done in free agency because you want to have a more free-flowing draft? You don't want to corner yourself in the draft. Yeah. You want to go in and say, you know what, if I want to go best player available, I don't care who it is.
Yeah, I think you always want to go into a draft with that mindset, and you never really want to go into a draft saying, I need to draft this position or this player, because that's, oftentimes that's when you make a mistake. When you reach for a guy, you talk yourself into a guy being better than he is just because you need it so bad. So we feel really good that we don't have to reach for a certain position or player. We can go in and pick the best guy that fits our team at any position, really.
Yep, and I think that's very smart. I think that's very awesome Newsom on you right there. I like that right there. Now we're gonna play a game. Anna set up a game for you. Ex-tight end, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do
junior
a game.
College guys right here.
Yeah. Junior college, baby. Understand. We know how hard it is to get through stuff. I appreciate people that went to junior college. It's not easy for everybody. All right, we got a tight ends list. I want you to draft the top 5 tight ends of all time. Your top 5. So it's not really a wrong answer here.
Yeah.
You can go off of this sheet if you don't have a sheet.
You got some guys? Well,
yes.
Well, you said it. One of the guys that definitely belongs in consideration, you just said his name, Ozzie Newsome.
Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah. And he's, a Hall of Famer as a player and as an executive in my mind.
Yeah, and most definitely.
But, there's so many tight ends, and, those are the guys I looked up to, obviously.
Yeah.
So, there's guys that I didn't see Mike Ditka play, right? So
all right. Neither one of us did.
But he, I'm sure belongs in
on
that. Guys like John Mackey, those guys, I can't speak to.
Yeah.
But the guys growing up that I really liked, or I think if you go in top 5,
you
can't leave off Tony G, right?
Gonzalez played against him. One of the hardest covers as a tight end ever.
Yeah.
All right. So we both agree with him and Ozzie Newsome. So we 2 for 2 right now.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I think you got to throw Gronk in there. It's a little bit of recency bias, but my lifetime, Gronk's pretty special.
No, Gronk is special. Were you a who am I thinking about? Jeremy Shockey guy.
Shockey's good.
Because I thought Jeremy Shockey shocked the world for a second there. Keith Byers.
Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson,
yeah,
Keith
his
Jackson.
Teammate, Keith Byers.
Yeah. Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson.
And you got
let's go the original Kellen Winslow.
Yes,
the first
you
one.
are right for the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, for the Chargers.
The Times.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 4.
I got I'm gonna go more than 5.
All right, let's do it. I will not stop you.
You can't just stop at 4.
Yeah. Who else you got?
I got a sleeper for you.
Who?
You got to look him up. Russ Francis for the Patriots.
I've been saying New England, right?
Niners. Yeah.
All right. What about the 49ers now? We can't leave out Brett Jones now.
But Brent Jones is the reason why I wore 84.
See,
one of my heroes right there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Why I wore 84.
And you got, who you got? I'm sure.
You got Kittle now. He's pretty good.
Cowboys. Also with what's his name?
Novacek. Witten. Novacek. Yeah. There's some good ones.
Long line of tight ends.
Yeah. It's a great position. It's a hard position, man. Yeah. You got to block. You got to catch. You got to know everything.
So who you feel, if you had to pick one, was the most equal in both? As a pass catcher and as a blocker. The most complete tight end. Who would you go? Jay Novacek?
I think, what was really cool about Tony Gonzalez is he was not a blocker when he started.
Yeah.
But by the end of his career, he became a good blocker. Was he a dominant blocker? No, but he was good.
No,
he was an elite receiver. So, I think.
And he had one of the most elite offensive lines I ever seen with Will Shields and the rest of those guys they had. So I think they told him, put the pressure on him to block.
Yeah.
Most definitely. This was very fun. Thank you for taking time out for Get Loud. Thanks for being here, Mr. Pete.
All right. Thanks, Fred.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, man.
703-726-7419. 703-726-7419. 726-7419.
The views and opinions expressed by our podcast guests and or hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Washington Commanders or any of their representatives.